as was predicated upon the last manifesto that we allowed out into the real world. Everybody, I think, is aware that Alabama 3 have been contaminated by alien beings who go under the name of the World of Militant Beat Liberating Executioners, as Alabama 3 call them, the Men From W.O.M.B.L.E.
Because what does W.O.M.B.L.E mean? I mean, the W.O.M.B.L.E haven't been on the telly for 15, 16 years. So our W.O.M.B.L.E will be the W.O.M.B.L.E. It could have been called Rasta, or it could have been called, Egg Cup, or Bottle Opener. But W.O.M.B.L.E's just as good as that. W.O.M.B.L's something that you would have in the kitchen. Would you pass that W.O.M.B.L., please? Oh, would you, you know what, I need to go and get a pair of laces for my W.O.M.B.L's. I think the zip's busted on my W.O.M.B.L. Oh, the Queen was wombling down Pall Mall the other day, I noticed. Phil was right behind her. He likes things covered in fur. It's a ripped off term, completely ripped off, completely recontextualised. The world of militant beat liberated executioners. Rob came up with that.
When the world of militant beat liberated executioners did actually invade our subconsciousness and the immediate Charm Environment Studios, under their kind of uncanny psychedelic supervision, we've been sort of took hostage, excuse the pun, for the last 3 months, and have developed what they told us to do basically, was to build a petri dish of rock and roll, which hopefully in terms of the marketing strategy will mean we'll contaminate as many hosts as possible, thereby maxing up the potentiality of the virus to make us loads of dollars.
This is the first record we've made that's actually real house. We wanted all the drum beats and all those things, and synthesizers and sequels and things, they're always in the back of the tracks, and the band are always in the front. This time we've reversed it and put all that in the front just to get a wee bit of melody.
The songs from W.O.M.B.L.E, in terms of the context of me and D-Wayne, who've been kind of masterminding on behalf of the Men From W.O.M.B.L.E, the project, did very much involve me and D-Wayne dredging up, shall we say, some very unsavoury moments of our past, both spiritual, psychological, habitual and animal, as inspiration for the new record. D-Wayne Love was very insistent that I dragged, kicking and screaming, the twisted memories of my time spent as the son of a preacher man. It's also involved a lot of D-Wayne stories about pimping, selling hoes on the street, crack, smack and all that shit he used to do when he was a wrong one. So yeah, it's a bit of a kind of a nostalgia trip for me and D-Wayne back to essentially why we started sex, drugs and fucking rock and roll, acid house all night long.
There's always literary references. I suppose it sounds a bit poncy, but there you go. We're people who like to read books, that's why we live in London. But I don't want to give too much away, because you want people to spot these things themselves. They'll be more interested in going and finding them for themselves then,
There's a Shelley poem in there, a Wilfred Owen poem in there. There's some, a wide variety of literary analogies. Alabama 3 under the supervision of the Men From W.O.M.B.L.E, way ahead of the game in terms of inserting secret little messages to our, shall we say, more poetic members of the family. We have the Men From W.O.M.B.L.E featuring a wide variety of artists who have graced the presence of Jam and who we have, excuse the pun again, but taken hostage and forced at various, I'm not saying gun points, but certain points were appointed to perform on the album. Basically, we've got thousands of people on the record.
It's just when people have been passing by, a lot of the time I haven't been here. We've had some really exciting guests, but I'm not going to give that away yet.
People like IDK, people like Tenafly, The Wizard, Aurora Dawn, Teresa Mullin. The album, I think, represents a very kind of extreme amalgam of Alabama 3's joy of being in a community like Brixton where we can call upon such a wide variety of artists, and it will be arriving soon in a, shall we say, some complex packaging and weird marketing.
What I was thinking about initially was we'll make the cover like a fur ball, but we've sort of got away from that idea now, but I still see it as something hairy and furry.
We've now made a record will get us into Saint-Tropez nightclubs, Milan Fashion Week, and every hot shot new club in New York to LA that we want to get in. It's funky, it's perverted, and it's religious. But get ready for contamination, because we are. Liberating executioners. All we want to know is. All we want to know is. All we want to know is. All we story.